Ah, eight viewers. So we got the microphone is set up. Let me bring that a little bit closer so that people can see it, hear it. I mean, there we go. Oh, throwing paint around. Damn, don't want to do that. Need to open a new kitchen roll quickly. Oh. Jumbo size toilet roll. I've just got small hands. This is just a regular size toilet roll, this. I'm a very small person in real life. There we go. Somehow I've got black paint on the mat, which I'm not happy about. No. Oh, damn. Oh, well. Oh, well. Can't be helped. John Paul, your message has flashed up because you're having trouble. Let me just try. So you're saying when I go on this live feed, people can't click on me and check my channel out. So I'm just going to see whether I can do that, John. My computer is playing up though, so, and I haven't got the whole screen on. Hold on a minute. Let me, I need to minimize. Save as, reload, forward, back, no. No, I can't at the moment, but that's because oh, there it is. Go to channel. Yeah. Are you using the three dots? The three dots to the right of your text. So yeah, if you click on them, it says go to channel. Anyway, everybody's got that sorted. Right. So just have a quick shoot through the chat just to get up to date with it. Damn, this is I've got a second monitor that I'm using. Unfortunately, it's not set up very well, so I've maximized the screen, and as a result, I've lost the half of the chat now. Damn. Show Windows, show the desktop task manager, lock all taskbars. No, we don't want to do that. I've lost my chat. I have lost the chat. Come on. This is a pain in the backside. There it is. There it is. So anyway, hello and welcome back to Wednesday night once again. Apologies for last week. I didn't realise until I came off that I got the time wrong, and I actually shut the channel down a bit too early. So consequently, I think it was only on for about an hour and a half when it should have been on for a bit longer. That's my fault, so apologies for that. Got a few bits to go through tonight. I think, where will we start? We'll start with the Patreon channel. So, as many of you that follow the channel regularly will know, I've been looking at starting a Patreon channel. And basically, in a nutshell, Patreon channel is, well, it's a form of begging. There's no other way I can think of putting it. Other companies may call it other things, but to me, it's just a form of begging. And I realised this. So, why am I doing this? And what do I hope is going to happen? Well, I don't want to keep going on about this because, you know, I just want to make sure that everybody understands and is on the same page. Apologies for that. So we're on an extremely low income now. We were on a higher income, but things changed drastically this year, and we dropped about £400 a month. So now we're sort of we're taking we're about £700, £800 a month is what we're bringing in. And it's not a lot when you've got to pay for all your bills and everything out of that. So I wanted to keep going with the channel, but for me to do that, I need to look at other ways of generating money. Now, initially, it was YouTube. They'd got the system where you could have ad revenues coming in, and that was the initial plan. But they kiboshed that one, and so that's no longer possible. So then this Patreon came along. I don't know how long it's been about, but I've only just heard about it. So apologies, you're just looking at my hands. That's very rude of me. So I decided I was going to go down that route. I know many other people are thinking about it, but many other people like me don't like the idea. So the other day I put a notice out that I was going to hi Terry.
Hi mate, how you doing? I'm just let you carry on.
I was going to announce this. I went live with my Patreon account, and there was going to be a tier set in place, and I would send content to Patreon, and then after a while it would drop back onto YouTube. I put that up, and I thought about it for the next 4 or 5 hours. All I could do was think about this Patreon account, and I decided that I personally, what gave me the right to think that what I do is worth paying for, and it just isn't. The whole thing didn't feel right. So instead, what I decided to do was I'm going to carry on. All the content will go onto YouTube as normal, so nobody's got to pay anything to see anything. And I've left it as a donation setup. So if people like what they see and they feel they would like to donate, then so be it. I've set the donation minimum like $2. I believe it might be $2. It might even be $1. I've already had one donation. Thank you very much. You know who you are. I don't know whether you want me to say who you are or not. I don't know. So until I get to speak to you personally, I'll just leave that at that.
I've had the same dilemma, Mark, with that.
Sorry?
I've had the same dilemma with the Patreon. I've had mine up for about a year. I had a couple of folk joined in for a couple of months.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the world content part, and it's more sort of, just supporting somebody in their hobby more than anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just I can't get my head around the whole asking for money.
If they want to support you in your hobby, they support you. But I'm not into the whole world content that you've got to pay to view and all this nonsense. I don't know that.
Yeah, which is why I made my abrupt U-turn early on, because it just felt so wrong that because I'm a beginner in this hobby. So what gives me the right to say that yes, my stuff is worth paying to see? No.
You'll have some people that want to support you in your hobby because you give them a bit of entertainment on a Wednesday night. And I think the tiers I've got set are $1, $5, and $10. But I mean, if you get somebody doing $10 over 12 months, the time Patreon takes a cut of it, you could maybe say, right, I'll bung my T-shirt or a.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, my plan is to let me let everyone know what my plan is. So if you decide that you want to donate, at the moment it's just I think it's just a $2 donation. I may set up different tiers, but that's down the road. I'll need to think that out. So at the moment I've got it set that once I reach $100, there will be half of that money, or some of that money, will be used to buy something to review, and that kit will be decided by by people on the Patreon page. I don't know how I'm going to work it out yet, but there'll be a way that people can suggest kits they want to see reviewed, as long as they're within a certain price range, because obviously then
once you've got Patreons, Mark, you can keep that bit behind the world content, the discussion of what to do, because you can chat to your Patreons.
Yeah. And then the other half I will use to buy a prize, and that will go to one of the Patreon subscribers. So every time it reaches 100 or whatever I set it at, obviously might not be able to reach 100. So let's say I only reach 50 in a year. Then at the end of that year, I'll take 25, and the subscribers will decide, what would we like to see reviewed. We'll do that. The other half will go on a prize, and then there'll be a little draw, and that way the subscriber and the Patreon, they're getting something back.
Patreon take $1 on every 10 anyway, so
yeah. So I hope that's cleared it up a little bit, because I really don't. I keep bringing it up all the time. I really want to put a line underneath this now. And I'll just refer to the beginning of this video now if anyone asks about how it's going to happen and what's going to happen. And I'm very grateful for anyone that subscribes. Don't get me wrong, it's I'll be thrilled. But so there we go. That's that. We're done and dusted with that now. So second on the list, I've got to eat a bit of humble pie here. Many of you will know that I've been quite vocal in my annoyance at the amount of Spitfires that get released. There's just hundreds of them. Whenever there's a new kit comes out, it seems there's another Spitfire. And I've got nothing against Spitfires. I think they're great machines. They've done us well in the World War II. But to me, it just feels like they're being done to death.
My plane will come and shoot in your Spitfire, mate.
Yeah. So consequently, when Tamiya announced they were bringing out a new kit, I was, all right, what's this going to be? And then lo and behold, it's a Spitfire. I was instantly scathing and disappointed, and made my opinion well known that, why another Spitfire? Anyway, fast forward to last night. I'm in bed, I'm watching some reviews, as I do on a night, and I think I was watching Fine Scale Modeler, and they reviewed the Tamiya Spitfire. And to put a long story short, I want one. It's actually quite an amazing kit. It's the detail on it is immense. It's got some amazing PE in there. It's a superb kit at a really low price as well. I think it's under 20 quid. And I'm told that's 148. I'm not sure, but wow, it really did surprise me how good that kit is. All the Spitfires I've seen or built, especially the one I'm building at the moment, have been a bit wanting in certain areas. So, yeah, I'm I'm being a bit two-faced about this now. So there we go. I just thought I'd mention that. What else? This, I had these. I kept getting these ideas for the show all through the week, and I mean to keep a little pad by the side of me so I can write them down. But come Wednesday nights, I can completely forget everything that I've looked at or seen. So for now, we will have a look at what I've been building. I'm sure there's something else I wanted to talk about, but we'll come back to that. Now, I can't remember where I got to with the Spitfire when it was last seen. Had it been dropped at all? Does anyone know? Had it been?
You dropped it. You dropped something.
Yeah, it got pulled off. We were moving around, and it got pulled off a worktop that it was sat on. And it was quite badly smashed. And I don't know whether anyone's seen that. I know Colin see it. Did you see it, Terry? Did I show you the pictures of it?
I think you did it, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite badly smashed. Well, I've spent all week trying to put this right, and this is where we're at now. The next stage is going to be back. We'll be back on the live videos. This has taken... These last few steps have taken a lot to get right. So, unfortunately, the wheels now have to be in the up position. One of the wheels got snapped completely, and neither of them, I couldn't get either of them to stay in place properly. So I decided to put them down. Unfortunately, as with everything else, it was a very poor fit. I had to virtually cut the legs in half along them, not sort of chop them in half, but divide them so that there was room enough to get these landing gear doors on. So that took me a day and a half to get them glued in, and I keep expecting them to pop off at any minute, but we'll see. Both of these got smashed. I've had to glue them in place really now. I've put one down and left one flat just to give an illusion that they're moving. I had to drill and put and use some like a little plastic rod, metal rod in that side. and the same on this side. The back was smashed in completely. This one of these was off, and the actual join had not just come away, it actually ripped into the plastic of the fuselage. Luckily, it sort of went along a panel line, so I've managed in most respects to get it back together. I don't know whether you can see it back together without noticing too much. You can see there's so you can see where the crack starts. Where's I need a little pointer of some sort. So the crack starts there and then goes down, and then it broke off all the way along here. The actual join is here. So it broke off beneath. That took me day, 2 days to get it set right and glued right. The seat came out completely. The instrument panel came out completely, and the steering column, the flight stick yoke or whatever, that all came out. I had to prise these. This all sort of come away. I had to prise these apart, and it was a pain in the arse trying to get that instrument panel back in and glued, because I only really had this sort of angle to look at it. And there we go. So now, where are we at now? We're back virtually where I left it before everything went to pot. So now I think we're almost ready for the primer coat. We'll give it a primer coat, see what the seam lines look like. I tried to add some rivets. I've got a rivet maker. Let me just show you quickly.
How many rivets did you add, Mark?
Sorry?
How many rivets did you add?
None in the end, believe it or not, because that's the riveter I got.
I've got one of them, yeah. I've not tried it.
But when I had a close look and I started to pop the rivets in, it was a no-go, because if you have a look at the rivets that are on this plane, you can see that I think they're raised. They're raised rivets. They're not. It's a bit hard to tell because let me try there. We've got a good view there. We bring that down. Yeah, you can see that they're complete. They're like a circle with a dot in, whereas these rivets are just like a little dot. So my options would be for that to completely rub everything out and redo the lot. Bearing in mind, I've never riveted anything before. This was my first attempt, or just work around it and try and cover up with weathering and so on. So I've opted for the coward's route and try and hide it if I can. So that's where I'm at with the Spitfire. I have done the panel lines. I've been round and redone the necessary panel lines, as you can see here. And yeah, that's where I'm at with the Spitfire. So finally making some progress on that. Molar 1. Now, Molar 1, I can't remember whether it was the last time I showed it, whether I'd done any work on it or not. I'm going to say no. I think the last time it was seen was on Terry's show, and we had a quick look at it. There's been no advance since then. It's just literally just had a little red. I'm just trying to think where it is. I've been tidying up. I'm going to get. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, that was one of the things I needed to talk about. But it's not. It's not within sight at the moment, so we'll leave that there. That's what I'm going to be working on tonight. So this is going to be the AWACS that I'm working on. We'll look at that in a bit. Other things I've got coming up. So I've got I've mentioned this before, the Beginner's Guide to Electronics by a Beginner. That's going to be coming out soon with the first sort of steps in that. 5, 6, 7, 8. Missed the thing there, Terry. Steps.
I've got something else to add to my disco box.
And the other new thing I've just taken a 3D printer. I bought.
Oh, I've had disconnected. There was Mark froze.
3D printer. Yeah. So that will be starting in the next few days, I think. So the first one's going to be an unboxing. And it's going to be a proper unboxing. We're going to take each part out, have a look at it. And then the next episode will be the starting to put it together. And it's just going to go along like that. And then we'll look at all the different types of plastic that we can use.
What sort of money was your printer, Mark?
Sorry?
What money was in your printer?
What money?
How much it cost?
I got a refurbished one, so I paid 120.
Right. Okay.
It's a Creality Ender 3 Pro. So they normally new. They're around. I think they're around £200 is a good price if you can get them for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, £200. So I know nothing about printing. I know nothing about modeling. So it's all going to be done in the same format. I'm going to, I'm going to wing it, and we're going to see what we can learn in the process. And I hope that will be interesting, and I hope that will generate some more subscribers, hopefully.
Be interesting for me, because I know Colin's got one, but he's not got round to building his yet.
Yeah, I was trying to get hold of Colin, but he doesn't answer his messages much, does he?
Yeah, I mean, it takes rest throughout the day because he gets sore. Eh?
Yeah, I know he's unwell a lot, so. So I mean, so what have you been up to, Terry? What you got on the go?
I've just been working on that. Hold on, I'll put my camera on a different bit. That kit that I won off the Emopoles. I'll see if I can find the box, because the box will be somewhere. I've not done a plane for years.
The Sukhoi.
It's a Czechoslovakian company that makes it. I don't know where am I going.
Yeah,
that one.
I like Sukhois.
Made by a Czech company. Was it Kovozavody Prostyev or something? Yeah, it's an interesting little build. So I'm just at all the test fitting stages. I've got bits because I'm going to try and put LEDs into it. So I'm just kind of cleaning up, seeing what it's going to look like. But it's a bit of a dog. Really,
not that great.
The as far as like fuselage halves and that, they all go together nice. The problem is where they've done the CAD design of the seam lines and stuff like that, they're a bit a mill out in places, and so it's going to need a lot of rescribing and stuff. So yeah, it's not the best, but I've got a plan of action for it. So at the moment, I'm just sort of cutting out all the bits and cleaning it up and making all the bombs and figured out where I'm going to put the wire in before I even paint anything. So I'm doing that.
Yeah, I'm doing my first wire. I'm doing my first kit with LEDs, and it's the Boeing E3 AC AWACS.
That's a big beastie, that.
And it's a bit of a beast, and I'm right at the stage where I need to put the I need to decide where everything's going. And every time I get to this point where I'm just going to start routing everything, I find something else to do. I don't know whether subconsciously I'm hoping that I don't know whether I'm just don't know whether it's going to go very well, or it's almost like I keep running away from it every time it gets near to putting the LEDs in. I mean, I've got a kit, so it's very straightforward for me, really.
Well, mine I did a wee jokey thing. I made a wee LED disco light box. So I purchased a kit, a wee electronics kit.
Is that 9 volt or 12 volt?
That's 9 volt. A wee electronics kit that's got a couple of speakers and little clear acetate boxes. That's going to be about the same size, and all the components and solder it up onto the board. So I've got 2 little speakers to go with my wee mobile disco unit. So the next project will be making a couple of DJ turntables up with little motors in, so I can go zip 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 just for a bit of laugh.
Yeah, you should fire that up. Show everyone what that does. That's
I'll need a thing with a light waiting out. Right. So.
Yeah, it's quite awesome.
Right, stick my battery on it. So I'll need to kill
like I don't know if you remember back in sort of 10 years ago, or even maybe now. I haven't been to a disco in a long time, but they have these at the front, don't they? The guys.
Yeah, that's it. With the decks on the top and the speakers at the side, so I can speed it up and down and all the rest of it and play about and make all fancy patterns. It's not really showing up in the light very well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I've got 2 wee kit speakers, and it's an electronics kit. It was a tenner or something. I'll switch that off. I'll put my light back on.
Well, I've got. I haven't built it yet, but I bought a plant monitor. I mean, how nerdy is that? You've got a disco lighting kit. Honestly, I'm no word of a lie. I bought a plant monitor. You've got to build it yourself. Just let me see if I can find it so I can.
I just got this today, so I've not had much time to play with it. But there's wee speakers you make up out of clear acetate that are going to sit at the side of the box. So there's little speakers and a whole load of electricity components. So it gives you a couple of little circuit boards, and then you've got to put all the components onto it. And it's actually got a little amplifier in it, so the speakers will work. But yeah, just a wee bit of fun, a wee £10 kit just to play about. So I'll make a couple of speakers to go with that. So it's just a bit of fun.
There you go.
All right, that'll be a piece of cake, mate.
Well, yeah, I'm lucky that I mean, I've said this before. I have got a little bit of previous experience, not a lot, and I'm one of these where I'm better on the theory than the actual practice. So, for example, when I was at college, I was really good at reading electrical drawings and making circuits and stuff like that. That was my.
Well, there's a good one for this. There's no assembly instructions. It's just that.
Yeah, but when it comes to soldering, oh my god,
that's just practice, mate.
I would solder something, and basically it just looked like coral had grown on the back of the circuit board.
The trick is to heat up the pad and the leg at the same time before you put the solder anywhere near it. Otherwise, you just get a cold joint.
Yeah, it was just an absolute mess, and I became completely demoralised by the fact that I couldn't solder. But there's stuff out there now. I know I've purchased on your recommendation the black bottle with the blue writing. flux.
Oh, the solder flux.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you can get the pens. Yeah. You want to
Yeah, I got the same one you showed me.
the rosin-free stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I just use that in a little. I've got a wee bottle there. It's just because when I used to work in the electronics factory, it was easier for reflowing than farting about with a pen.
Yeah, and I got that kit as well. You can buy that.
Yeah, you got
a bottle with the needle. You can buy a little kit.
You just apply it, and it's easier than farting about with a pen. But yeah, it's whatever you prefer. Eh?
Yeah. So I'll give that.
I've been splashing out. I've got myself a DC power supply and everything now, so I've got.
Oh yeah, you've got one of those now. How long you had that? I don't remember seeing that there before.
I just got that the other day there.
Awesome. And what sort
of... She's saying soldering first tip, never use a point, use a chisel tip. I agree. I use a wee chisel tip rather than one with a point on it. So when you use
a point. So
no. Yeah, what you want is something that carries a bit of heat with it, because if you use a point, it doesn't carry a lot of thermal load. It doesn't, as soon as you touch it, all the heat drains away and it doesn't melt anything.
Yeah.
So for example, on this little circuit board here, when I put a component through, I don't know if you'll even see this on camera. See one of these pads there. I'll lay my soldering bolt sideways on the pad so it heats the pad and the leg at the same time, and then I'll put my solder on, and the chisel tip just seems to work better for that.
Oh right, I'll certainly give that a go, because
I've got the point ones as well. They're not that great, to be honest. I mean, there's a point one, and I tend to find the point doesn't heat up, it heats up back for the point, and it's just a pain in the arse, so I just use a chisel tip.
Yeah, I've just changed my soldering iron again off the back of something you told me. So now I've got one that I can set from, is it 190 to
oh yeah, I've got that a temperature controlled soldering station. Yeah.
So now it's fully adjustable, my soldering iron. I don't get it until Christmas, but I only got it out of Lidl. Was it Lidl or Aldi? I can't remember.
The points are okay for some instances. I mean, as Sarge says, photo etching that, getting into some of the creases, but I'd still use a chisel. As Joanna's saying, there's no thermal transfer. The bigger amount and mass of material you've got there, the more heat it holds, so that when you apply it to it, it doesn't cool right down and take ages to go up to temperature. You want the heat to stay there, so you touch it, solder in and away, or you start damaging components.
Yeah, so anyway, that's my whether this will ever get built, I don't know.
If you ever build it, send it to me, I'll build it and post it back. What does it do? Is it one of the moisture sensors?
Yeah, it's supposed to detect whether your plant needs watering. I mean, I normally wait until the leaves are wilting.
Yeah, you get that with the Arduino kit. The only problem is when you put the copper bits into the soil, if it's an alkaline soil, it eats away at the copper tracks.
Yeah, I keep reading about this Arduino. And
yeah, I've got one in a box up there.
Is that like the Raspberry Pi?
Mm-hmm. It's basically a programmable chip. You write little sketches for them.
Oh, right.
Inputs and outputs. So whereas I would take a 555 timer and use all the components in the right order to make flashing lights like my disco light.
Yeah.
You can actually type it in. Output 1, go on for 1,000 milliseconds, and then off for 1,000, and then output 2, and you can tell it which one to go. So it's good if you're doing like a Starship Enterprise or something like that, where you want lights to fade in and then a soundboard to come on and then another sequence of lights going. You can just type that in and code an Arduino.
So how much is one of these Arduino? Is it just the chip itself, or is it a board that's...
Mine's is actually at the bottom of a pile of stuff. Let me dig it out. The one I got, you get it with a load of wee projects. Mine should have been 70 quid, but I got it for 24.
Yeah, so it sounds very much like the Raspberry Pi, only, you know.
But you've got to have a basic understanding of electronics and what a capacitor does and what.
Yeah.
all that is. I'm just trying to get to it because it's way at the bottom of my pile of electricity bits. But it is, it's just a board with a chip on it. Oh. Here's me thinking I tidied the place up. Components everywhere.
That's certainly something to look at in the future.
Colin's a whiz kid with his because Colin used to actually do programming. Because it's a variant of C++ they used to program them. And that bit I am sadly learning the component part. I know, right, I found it. So you get a kit like that.
Oh, it's quite big then, was it?
And then you open it up and it has a whole load of little projects in it, but the Arduino board itself, that's a prototyping shield I've got on top of mine, is just, if I can pull it apart, it's that. It connects by USB to your PC.
Yeah.
That's a chip that does all the work.
Yeah.
It's a certain amount of inputs and outputs. So you go into your PC, you write your sketch up, and say you want to run 5 LEDs and them flashing different ways. You write your sketch up, and then you connect all your bits up to it, and then you download the sketch onto the chip, and it runs it.
All right.
Thing is, if you were actually want to use that on a kit, you don't want to have to use an Arduino board for every kit that you do because it would work out quite expensive. So you can actually get programmable chips. Colin knows more about it, called ATtinies. So you write your sketch on that, and then you use the Arduino to program the ATtiny, and you put the ATtiny chip inside your.
Right.
That's what Colin's working on. So yeah, but it's all a bit of fun. It gives you loads of wee experiments.
Yeah, that could be another hobby there.
Yeah, I'm learning on it. It's a lot of code, mate.
Yeah.
I've done basic coding in the past, but not to the level that Colin does.
No, he's far more advanced at it.
It's other stages of software.
Yeah.
A board with various controllers on it, yeah. I mean, that disco board was a 555 and decade chip project just for the laugh. You know, but I want to get into the Arduino side because it's not so easy to do fade and things like that with, and I'm just knocking everything over. Don't worry, don't panic. Put my Peterbilt there. Yeah, I had tidied up, and now I have to tidy up again.
Yeah, I've been tidying up. Got everything ready.
I've rearranged all my bench and everything, so I've got a bit more room. Because this Peterbilt truck's going to be fucking massive.
That is.
I've got all the rear lights installed and front lights and all that. So
you get that LEDs or fiber optics on that?
LEDs, mate.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what size they were now. You get different sizes of surface mount LEDs.
Yeah, I think the ones I've got for this are 3 mil.
These are 1 mil by 2 mil.
But then you can get nano ones, can't you? Which
these are kind of like the nanos. I've got loads of them. I've got ones that are 1 mil by half a mil. Yeah, they're great fun to solder.
So I mean, just to show everyone, the thing I got for this is currently my electronics box that I'm building up. So I've only just started, and I'm putting everything together in here. If I can just...
Well, your jumper wires and everything, yeah.
Yeah. So my breadboard's knocking about somewhere. And I've got that. Some batteries, jumper cables. These were really cheap. I actually bought these off of Wish.
You can get them for China for like...
Yeah. I think I paid... I think it was something like £4. And I got all these. I got the breadboard, which is about that big, and I also got a power unit for the breadboard, which I haven't
5-volt one, yeah.
Still in its anti-static bag.
Yeah, I've got one there as well.
That's got USB on there that you can power it.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I haven't tried that yet though. A couple of the parts on there are a bit wonky, so yeah. So then I've got a load of resistors, which I got again off Wish.
Wish,
and they were I think £2. I got them and 100 5mm clear white LEDs, and they're quite, you know, there's let me just get one out. I've also bought some watch batteries, and let me just see if I can spread that to, I don't know whether it'd be too much. There we go.
what have you just done? You're not putting an LED across a 9-volt battery, are you?
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, just blowing it, mate. Yeah. You got to watch when you blow them up, because sometimes the end shatters off and it'll go flying into your face.
Oh, right. There you go. First lesson learned. Thanks, Terry.
Yeah, they're rated at 3 volts, mate, so you need to put at least a 320 ohm resistor in there.
Yeah. Well, that's probably then why they came with these, because they came as a pack.
Yeah. The general rule, if you're running 9 volts and 2 LEDs, you'll need a 150 ohm, and if you're running 1 LED, you'll need a 330.
Yeah.
Put it right across the battery like that. That's something I was going to demonstrate, blowing up resistors and stuff when I do my...
I did have, because I did run it across, I got some watch batteries that I tested
but they're 3 volts and low.
And they work great. Yeah, so I mean, I'll just throw.
I mean, there's one there. There's a coin cell battery, right? Because that runs at 3 volts. Now, a lot of people don't put a resistor in line because there's not a lot of current comes out of these, but it's bad practice. Although you can just for testing. You know, just stick your which is the plus again? That side. Stick your plus on one side, and you know, there you go. There's your LED on a coin cell.
Yeah.
But it's always good practice to put a resistor in line, because that limits the current.
And then I got
Joanna. Sometimes I'm just going to pull you up in the always in parallel, not in series. Sometimes a circuit's more efficient in accommodation to series and parallel for voltage drop and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're going to drop a bulb out, you're going to drop a bulb out.
Now I'm not sure what these are, but these are flashing. Let me get my coin cell ones out. I think that one
flashing and flickering.
9 volt. I think these are 12 volt rated. These ones.
John Paul, you're saying a working Christmas tree. I know you can get wee kits with timers on for doing like traffic lights and that, but there's extra lights on the Christmas trees for a drag strip, isn't there? But yeah, I tend to use a combination of series and parallel, because put it this way, if a light's going to go, it's going to go. It's going to look as shit anyway.
Yeah, so let me just...
Oh, you've got tiny wee ones.
So I'm pretty sure I've had these on a 9 volt battery. I should really write on them when I get them so I know what they are.
Oh, but you can put a capacitor across some, John, out of stop spikes. Which is what I tend to do.
No.
Right, wait, no, you're just sticking things across terminals again. Oh, fuck.
No, I don't know what's happened there.
Right. You tend to find that most LEDs, Mark, will run at between 2 and 3 volts, right? So if you look at that wiring and there's a bulb on it, if there's not another wee bit of heat shrink further down, there's no resistor on it.
It's got a resistor on this.
Where?
Just there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I bought these.
Is it designed to run on 6 or 9?
I'm pretty sure I bought them because I bought these and I realised these were too. I didn't want them at 3 volts, so everything I got afterwards is either 9 or 12.
They'll be 12 then. So all you do is you take the resistor out of that and you've got a 3 volt LED. Unless you're driving it on 12. I don't like putting 12 volts inside a kit because things can get a bit hot.
I've had this running on a battery, but I don't.
A 9-volt should just drive a 12-volt one, just.
I'm sure I've had this running on, I think maybe, let me just try.
Yeah, Paul's saying he doesn't understand resistors and capacitors. I'll go into that when I do my video thing. Still haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it in such a way that I'll use my DC power supply and actually blow one up and show you what happens when you pick the wrong one. That leaves a bit of smell in the house and sometimes sets off a smoke detector, so I might do it in my spray booth.
Maybe it's
You're determined to get that working, aren't you?
yeah, because it was working the other day, which I need to know if I've fucked it up or not.
I've seen what Joanna's saying about breadboards. Just run it in your head. You can if it's a circuit you've done all the time, but the thing is, for people that have not done it before, and they're then going to transfer it to a breadboard onto something like, see if I can find one. I did have some in here. Onto the wee PCBs. Oh, there we go. I've got some PCBs up here. I find often for people that are new at it, all right, you can draw the circuit diagram out and stuff like that. Oh, turn it out upside down. But if you then want to take your circuit and then put it onto one of these wee PCBs, it's easier for somebody learning to have it on a breadboard and then try and figure it out where it's going to go in the PCB. You know? I mean, there's a few circuits I could bang on a PCB and not have to do on a breadboard, but
There we go.
There he goes. Oh, it's a flashing blue and red. All right, okay. I've got a couple of those in SMD for my R2D2.
Yeah, alternates blue and red. Yeah, and so this was when I found out about, because I read up on them. And then, of course, there's the whole issue of, do you buy wired or do you buy them unwired and put your own stuff on? And there's a big, there's lots of pros and cons.
I can see Mark all right. They said they can't see you.
Sorry?
There's people in chat saying that they can't see you. I can see you on my camera.
Yeah. My apologies. I've got the chat locked down and the sorry.
I can see you on camera, like.
Yeah, so, I mean, how much has everyone missed? Have I been missing for a while?
I don't know, because I've seen you on the camera. So, unless you've not got it locked on me, have you?
I did have, yeah.
Wait now, let me have a look.
I've got it.
No, I can see you even on the live. I can see you moving.
Yeah, I really need to have it so that it bounces around.
I can see you putting stuff into bags, and that's me looking on the live screen. Yeah. Seems all right at my end.
Yeah, so anyway, I got this out because this is the kit. Now, this was, somebody sent me this. They know who they are, and I am extremely grateful to them.
The guys in the chat are saying they've missed about 15 minutes of what you were talking about.
Oh, that is so... Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
You must have blown up his LED.
Yeah, you missed it. You missed the little crackle and the smell, and
we all do it. I've done that. Built a circuit up, forget to put a resistor in, and the LED goes pop. Oops.
I have been watching the chat, but it hasn't scrolled up for a while. Let me.
Yeah, there's quite a few, and you've got Joe, Paul Shetland, Vamp, Rob B, Bobbingtons. Yeah, there's a few of them in. Sarge is in. There's quite a lot in.
Yeah, so this is you buy these off of eBay, and it costs I'm not certain on the cost for this because somebody else bought me it. But I've priced them up. They're around about £4. And in it you get, so we just pull it out so you can all see.
Oh, Joanna's going into Ohm's law. I just prefer view over IR. It's easier.
So you get your battery lead terminal.
All right, so they're obviously made up for 9 volts then. Yeah.
Yeah. You get a heat shrinking sleeve, which I will go over when I start doing the electronics course. But basically, you just put some heat underneath this, and it actually shrinks, and it's really good actually. They never used to have them when I was at college. And then you get a set of different colors. Now, if I remember rightly, I've got a couple of clear ones. I've got a red one, a flashing red one, and I can't remember, to be honest. The easiest way would be, I've put the battery away now. But anyway, it comes like that. So then you've got your lamp holder. So, for example,
I use those, yeah, but
if you wanted to on your kit, you find where your red light goes underneath. You can drill your hole. You can use that if you want, or you can just use that and some glue, glue it in place on the inside, and then you just route your wires to wherever your battery is. Then you need to decide, are you going to have a switch, or is the battery going to be inside? And then you've got to think, if the battery's inside, do I need to have access to it, or am I just going to put the one battery in and when it's done, it's done? There's so many things you need to think about. It's not just there's a lot
or you can buy some of these jack plugs and just put a jack plug on it and then power it externally.
Yeah. And I think if I was doing something big like an Enterprise, or something like that had got a lot of lighting in, a Millennium Falcon or something like that, then I probably would go for a 12-volt power supply with a like a 12-volt or 9-volt jack plug, and an on-off switch integrated into the base somehow.
The only thing with 12 volt for me, most LEDs run at around about 3 volts, right? So you put a resistor in to drop it down to the value to take up the excess voltage, right?
Yeah.
Resistors give off heat.
Yeah.
So if you're running a 6 volt, you're only dropping 3 volts, right? So you're going to have less heat dissipated. You're running 12 volts and 3 volt LEDs, you've got more heat dissipated. You're going to end up melting your kit. That's why I don't put 12 volts inside a kit.
Well, I mean,
that's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
You start thinking about cars and 12 volt electrics and what happens when they start frying up.
Yeah. There's a lot of car fires that have been had through dodgy electric.
What you want to have as little power loss as possible. And Jo knows what I'm talking about because she's talking about all the different voltages and calculations in that. But you can either have it all regulated on a 5 volt output, or you can run it on 9 volts. But you want to have it so that you're not using lots of resistors, because resistors use current and give off heat, and it shortens the length of your battery and stuff like that.
But with automobiles, the other thing you've got to take into consideration is it's you're then talking about direct current, aren't you, as opposed to alternating. I
mean, Joanna's going into stuff that most folk will be like, "Oh, what's a buck converter?"
Yeah, Joanna's well versed in electronics, and that she's way ahead of long way ahead of me.
I make my own. I've got voltage regulators and everything.
Joanna's saying, I normally put in a 6 to 24 volt buck converter. Well, buck to me brings up memories of itty bitty bitty.
But they've usually got a voltage header, so you need to be at least 2 volts above.
But Rogers.
Yeah.
You may. So I'm going to have a quick. Let's go back and have a quick look at what the chat's been doing.
Everybody's tuned out because we're on LEDs.
I don't think. I think people find it interesting. I might be wrong. You have a
Right. Buy fairy lights. Actually, a good source of fibre optic, which can be quite expensive. You see, you get these wee things that's got like a wee base, and then all the fibre optic things coming out and all glow the different colours in that. And you get them like in pound shops and that. Get them and get your fibre optics out of them. I buy it by the roll, but pardon me.
My screen has all of a sudden maximised, and I'm missing the up and down button, so I can't scroll up and down.
I just use my mouse, but
because I'm using a second screen, it's really blinking annoying. So I'm going to have to start. Oh wow! I'm reading Joanna's comments, and it'll make me sound intelligent if I read them. So you plug those numbers into the equation, and it tells you what. Sorry?
I know what Jan was on about, but there's a lot of folk just starting with the basics. Why do I need a resistor? What value should it be? What voltage?
Yeah, this is... No, you haven't bored anyone, Joanna. It's just... it's way ahead of where anyone's at, or where most of us are at. So that's going to be some really good information down the road. And yeah, you'll definitely be the person to come to with questions like that. Yeah, so I got sidetracked there. I don't. So we done some electronics there. I don't know. And
well, you blew up an LED, and yeah,
I blew up an LED. That's the highlight of the night. That stunk and all. That really stunk.
Wait till you torture resistor, mate. When you find, I mean, a lot of folks say, all right, I've got a 220 ohm resistor. That's the right one for the job because I've done the online calculator and it says to use that and to use a 1/4 watt one. But then they put 12 volts through it and you really need a 1/2 watt, which is something else that needs explained. So then the 1/4 watt one bursts into flames. That's good fun. And if it does it inside your model, it's even more exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, watching a resistor blow up is great fun. I'll cover that in my video, but I'm thinking I'll need to do it in my spray booth to take the fumes away.
Yeah, but what you could do is set it up. I don't know if you got a mobile. What sort of mobile phone you got?
Me?
Yeah.
A Sony. What is it? Xperia.
Have you got a super slow-mo camera on it?
It has, yeah.
Yeah, you want to do that. Film that super slow-mo.
Oh, I can slow-mo it and edit. Anyway, you just stretch the film it.
I need to go for a wee-wee.
Right, okay.
Can I leave that with you just a second?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. So I think I've said hello to everybody, haven't I? Don't know if me and Cole's doing an insomnia the night or not. I've covered everybody that's in. I think I'll go right back to the beginning and see who's all in, shout them out. I've done Rob B, Mark Scale Models. Who else? Bobbingtons, John Paul Shatland. Jared B. Chris Henderson. Model Maker Dave's in. Vampy's in, Sarge is in. Who else? I'm just scrolling back through the chat. Mark Scale Models, I think I said that. John Hammond. Hope it's not a long P. Do you think it's like a big elephant sort of? Anyway, Sarge, I think I've got everybody covered. Oh, Grant 5760 Models 5678. Yeah, Bobbingtons. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I was thinking about doing. Me and Colin's been talking about it, doing a basic electronics video, starting right for the basics. So yeah, it's figuring out what to put in, and everybody's saying just put it all in, and we'll watch what we want to watch. So got a bench DC power supply, and I thought I should maybe blow things up to show people what happens when you get it wrong and the importance of the part. So I might cover that.
Yeah, you should.
Back.
It'd be good. So anyway, I'm going to carry on. Did you manage to get to the shop, Terry?
I've got till 10 o'clock, but it's absolutely blowing a gale and pissing rain. So yeah, I've got till 10 o'clock to go to the shop.
It's not been good here, to be honest. The weather's been really bad. Apparently, we've got that storm. I can't remember the name they give this one, but
I forgot to say Muse is in. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Muse.
And Vampy and all the rest of them.
I'm desperately trying to. Let me see if I can do it this way.
I can read them out if you want to talk about what you're doing. If anybody has any questions, and that way you don't have to concentrate in the chat. You just concentrate on what you're doing.
Yeah, that's.
I'll read any questions that they've got for you or any comments, and you just carry on with your presenting, mate.
Well, it's just because I've got this second monitor set up. It was supposed to make things easier if I had a second monitor set up, but the second monitor set up, but everything, all the chats on there. But if you can imagine, only half the icons are there. None of the address bar at the top is in view. So I can't control the up and down on the chat.
Yeah, I generally pop out the chat and I resize my video window so I can see what we're doing. And then I take the pop-out chat and the writing slot beside it. So it's...
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do at the moment.
Gary Pashley's in. How you doing? Can't decide if it's a public service announcement or Smooth just likes blowing things up. Yes, I like blowing things up. Oh, that would be a good one, Joe. I'd like to try that. I don't have any liquid nitrogen. She says, if you want a real laugh, try running 1,000 volts through an LED submerged in liquid nitrogen. It survives. Yeah, I suppose that's super cool in it, though. As long as it's at 20 milliamps, I'll be fine. Well, it goes UV in the nitrogen. Yeah, see, I've never got to play with stuff like that. I was the kind of guy in science class where they would give you a test tube and say, right, 2 bits of copper sulfate and 1 bit of that, and we would always double them up and then watch it explode. Oh, dear. If you just carry on with what you're doing, Mark, and I'll commentate out. I'll need to go about 9:30.
Yeah. I'm just trying to resize this window, but it's not having any of it. Oh wow, there's been quite a lot of chat, and I've missed it all because of the...
we've caught most of it.
Oh, have we? Good.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got it back. There, I'm not moving that now. So, okay. I'm going to carry on with this anyway. So, it's just...
We've got model maker Dave, and he obviously works in IT support. He says, Mark, your monitor issue might be a scaling issue. Go into display settings if you... What? Something right. That's a conversation to be had after the...
Yeah, scaling. I know what he means. It's because the monitor's a Samsung TV.
Ah, right. Okay.
I'm saying monitor, but it's a Samsung telly, a 24-inch TV, and the laptop's obviously a proper computer monitor. And I'm trying to extend one onto the other. So.
John is saying the worst experiment we did at uni was an Evian bottle, liquid nitrogen, splash of water, put the top on, throw it and run. That's a bit like that Mentos and Coca-Cola thing, isn't it? Yeah. A wee bit of an explosion with the temperature change, I would imagine. I didn't do the uni thing.
So we've got... Which really is a beast of a kit.
Muse is saying, let's just say I enjoyed science way too much. Yeah. I like my chemistry.
That sort of goes.
Yeah, kind of lost me on all that liquid nitrogen stuff. Yeah, it's some good channels out there where people use things that you're not supposed to use for things they're not supposed to be used for. Rob says, Mark, we've lost you again. What are you seeing when you're saying you're losing Mark?
Yeah, it's because I've got the screen on you. How do I get it so that it just flits around between the two?
Right, click on yourself, on the box of yourself. It should light up a wee surround on it, a white surround. And then click it again and it'll just float.
There it is.
And if you want to present yourself, just click on yourself.
Oh, there we go. I've done it. Right. It should flip now. So if you say something, Terry, it should.
Something.
Yes. There we go. My apologies.
It's harder to see when you've only got two people in because it only shows one at a time. Yeah. Yeah, they're all talking about blowing up things.
Yeah, we'll have the FBI knocking on the door.
Quite funny when I was doing the late night insomnia with Colin the other night. I was gluing some bombs together and I kept saying bomb.
Yeah.
To see if they would tune in.
Well, we do the same. Me and another guy, we have a laugh on the offline sort of hangouts, because they say that there's certain key words that they listen to. They just sort of tune into them certain key words. So every now and then, for no apparent reason, what was it I used to say? I can't remember now. My memory is dreadful.
Vamp's going, oh, there's a mark. Looks like you've fixed it, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That'll do. Now I've lost. Where's my glue gone?
Yeah, nothing wrong with experimentation at uni. You're supposed to just try things out. Yeah. It's a bit like adult life as well. Oh, that burns. I'll not do that again.
Yeah, life is one big experimentation. Oh, what have I done with me tech?
John's in. Someone mentioned bombs.
I just know that Bob is going to be sat there going, oh, he's lost what?
John, there's a link there if you want to come in, mate.
Who's that?
John, GB's Model Zone.
Yeah, come in. Yeah, anybody that wants to come in, there's a link on the, if you're a member of the channel, the Sprue Surgery Waiting Room, there's a link on there. Or if you're a member of Smoo's and Terry's group, you've got, so all you guys that are regular in there, you've got a free pass, really. So you can just drop in whenever you want for however long you want. Make sure that I'm almost breaking the back of 500 subscribers on YouTube.
Oh, well done, mate.
Yeah, so back end of last year, so it's not even been a year, I said to myself, I'd be happy if I made 150 the following year. So this is the year we're in now. And I made 150. So then I said, I'll be happy if I make 250. And I made the 250. And it went on like that. And now, like, I've got 1 month left. if I can get 10 subscribers or 9 subscribers, I've made 500. That's like 3-4 times what I thought I was going to get. I'm really pleased with that.
Colin and I get quite surprised at it. Oh, I forgot John's away. He's not away on his bike tonight, is it? Thursday? It's not Thursday, this, is it? No, it's Wednesday, isn't it? I forget what day it is. Where am I? Who am I?
Wednesday.
Why am I here?
So, did you get the clear parts? You're on about for the AWACS? No, I have still not heard anything back from Hella regarding that. Borg box. Now, this is something I spoke to Andrew about this earlier on tonight, because I said that you've got the Terry and
Colin
have got the Star Trek group build coming up on their channel. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to be taking part.
I hope so.
I actually want to try and do something different that I've never done before. So it's two things, actually. I'm going to scratch build something. And it's going to, I'm hoping to build the Borg cube.
Do you go start with Rubik's Cube then?
Sorry?
You go start with Rubik's Cube and then...
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's only going to be small because, to begin with, I'll start small. When I say small, I don't mean like OXO cube size, bit bigger than that. Maybe a Rubik's Cube size to begin with. And then I was watching Star Trek Next Generation tonight, and the Borg were on it. So I tried to get a good look at their cube. I really don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm gonna give it a go. I've never done any scratch building before.
Plasticard, mate. They're all talking about their uni days on there. Sarge just saying, back in 75, fucking hell, you're fair age, aren't you?
Wow, 75.
Back in 75, they were dipping tennis balls in liquid nitrogen and throwing them at the walls and watching them go.
Who said back in 75?
Sergeant Bones.
Oh, right, okay. I think I know that.
He's a youngster.
Yeah, I think I know that is.
Joanna says she spent her childhood taking old CRT TVs apart. Yeah, I used to like taking things apart. It was getting them back together, though, was a hard part, I found. Oops. I can remember getting a present of a dynamo for my bike when I was younger. And
yeah.
I had it on 2 days and I'd stripped it apart, hiding I got off my dad because I couldn't get it back together because it was all just press fit, you know. It didn't work again. I was
I was obsessed with electrics when I was a lad. I remember my dad going out, and Mum and Dad went out one day, and I'd found a screwdriver with a crocodile clip attached to it.
This sounds fun. Mm-hmm.
So I went upstairs and plugged in, one of these plugs where you plug it in and you can change the voltage.
Oh, an adapter, a power adapter, right?
Yeah, one of those. So I plugged that in and put it on 12 volts or whatever it was, and then started clipping the alligator clip on Earth, and then I'd go around touching various points in the plug. Of course, all of a sudden, there's this almighty bang, and I got flung down the stairs because our plug on the landing was opposite the staircase. And I sort of stood up. My legs were wobbling a bit, and I was a bit dazed. And that was my first experience of messing around with electrics. I never got that. Incidentally, that power pack never worked again.
That's why I'm looking forward to your The electronic series, Things Going Bang with Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
You've already blew one LED tonight. It's just a shame it wasn't a bigger puff of smoke.
Well, at least I ain't got to worry about my hair standing up on end.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about having that, you know, smoke-coloured face. And
There's a few folk there that know about their electricy talking about discharging big capacitors on TV sets. Yeah, if you don't do it, you'll get a bit of a belt. Ram's going, did you ever hit a TV tube lightly with a £10 hammer when you haven't discharged anything? Yes. Possibly a bigger hammer than that, but yeah.
I remember as a kid, and I was really gullible. Not so much as I grew older, but certainly when I was 7, 8, I was a bit gullible, and I was actually convinced to put my finger in a spark plug socket.
Oh, the amount of jolts I've got, because I'm a mechanic to trade, so yeah.
While they turned the engine over, they said that they told me that I was testing to make sure there was, you know, that it would start, and they said that this was the way you had to test it. Like I say, I was only a kid at the time, but yeah, I did it. What a bloody idiot!
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think that put me in good stead, because had they not done that, I think I might have had a lot when I went into my apprenticeship, because people were always trying to pull one over on the apprentices, you know, a pack of grinding sparks and stuff like that.
A ton of compression.
But because my mates at the time when I was youngster were just so always trying to play a practical joke, by the time I reached working age, I didn't trust no fucker.
Yeah. Yeah. Joanna's saying it's not the voltage, it's the current. Well, your body starts conducting electricity at around about 60 volts. But you only need milliamps to start it taking over your heart. So, yeah, it's dodgy stuff if you don't know what you're doing.
Well, that's one thing I've got to be careful of, because I have a dodgy heart. So
you're not going to be making any DIY pacemakers then?
No. Big one of those big alarm clocks, Wessex alarm clock with double bells hanging. Ding, 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 ding.
Where's it go?
Is that supposed to? I think that's right, but
Joanna's saying even mains isn't as bad as people think. I've been electrocuted by mains as many times as a child, always touching the wrong things. Yeah, and you feel perfectly normal. Yeah.
There's a bloke out there that he reckons he gets struck. He's struck by lightning 7 times in one day.
There's quite a lot of things. See the guys that work on the high voltage lines, it's more in America, they have backup generators and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the transformer will go out. They have them on the top of the pole. So the transformer will come out. Now, if the guy hasn't earthed the transformer and the guy in the house is back feeding the grid with his generator, right? Let's say. So it goes from the 240 volts in his house, or his 110 volts in the house on his generator. But then it goes up through the transformer and kicks up to whatever gazillion volts it is. And the guy that's working on it gets he thinks it's all switched off.
Yeah.
And then they get killed because of the shock coming back for the backflow for the generator. So that they've had to sort of say, yeah, ground every transformer before you even work on it, in case there's somebody in there with a generator backflowing. There's a lot of dodgy stuff can happen.
Yeah.
What's Vamp saying? Extremities goes black faster than freezing on the Alps. Yeah. We should all get together someday as a group and lick 9-volt batteries. Is that what you're suggesting, Vamp? The smell of burning tongue sensors. Yeah, Joe, you get the kits for it, but a lot of folk just, you know, hardwire their generator in through the fucking either the cooker socket or the dryer socket. It's supposed to have double pole. So I'm just saying, considering I'm a qualified explosive expert, it could be fun. Yeah, DC hurts. I can remember my uncle saying as a fireman, if you're in a house and obviously there's wires and all sorts of things hanging down, you always approach everything with the back of your hand, because if you get a jolt, your body's inclination is to tense up. So if your hand was out, you would tense up onto the object that's electrocuting you. So you always use the back of your hand so that if you do get a jolt, your hand clenches away from it. And Sarge loves licking 9-volt blocks. Oh, Vamp's just made me laugh at one. He's talking about farm electrical fencing huts, you know, the stun fences.
Oh, yeah.
You know, seen the video on Facebook where the guy goes for a pee against one?
No, I've not seen that.
Oh, he pees against one of these electric fences and he got a little bit of jolt.
Damn.
William Garraway's in. How you doing?
That'd be funny too. Oh, that's a name I've not heard before.
Yeah, he comes in on our feeds, Mark.
Let me just bloop.
Yeah, all the crazies I've come across, mate.
So I'm just going to go back a little bit over the chat because I've neglected it a little bit tonight. So we were on about electronics earlier on. Scale Model Vamp says Borg box. I'm guessing that's something to do with Star Trek build.
No, you were on about making a Borg thing. You were talking about making a Borg.
Yeah, no, but I mentioned that way after Scale Model Vamp mentioned. So Scale Model Vamp, that's a real nice printer. I think he's on about the. Let me just find. All right, I'm just going to start here. It's so Scale Model Vamp. Hello, Davey. Sergeant Bones says, "Oi, Terrier Mark, meatballs and Bollingtons. Get your GT today, Mark." No, I haven't, but I did get a message to say that it's on its way. I've been waiting for that car for at least 9 months, maybe more.
Is that the GT3, is it?
Yeah, the Ford GT, the Rebel one.
Oh, the Ford one, right. Okay.
Yeah, I paid for that way back, and it's finally on its way now. It's been posted, so can't wait to get that. I will be reviewing that one straight away as well, as soon as it comes in. So then Scale Model Vamp mentions about the printer that I've bought, which is the Creality Ender 3. Scale Model Vamp Sarge, Meatballs, Bovington Bones, Model Maker Dave's Workshop. Hello, Vamp. How doing? John Paul. Hi, Vamp. And then we've got Scale Model Vamp says he's doing excellent today. Sergeant Bones, hey Terry, outside his comfort zone, nice. Referring to the jet that Terry's building, which is a Sukhoi.
Frogfoot.
Sorry?
It's nicknamed the Frogfoot. It's a bit like it's a Russian version of the A-10. It carries lots of bombs and shit.
Yeah. Sergeant Burns, Yo, Vamp and Bob. Scale Model Vamp doing excellent today. Yeah, I've already covered that. Get your box vamp. Meatballs and Bobbington. Get your box vamp. I don't know what that's referring to. Hi, vamp, says Paul Shapland. And then he says, oh, yes, I know what they mean now. Yeah, he was expecting a box. That's it. That makes sense now. And yes, he did get it. So I should imagine he's a happy bunny. Did I get the clear parts? No, I did not. We covered that. The disco box remind me of the computers from Star Trek, the original series. Yeah. Yeah. Flashing lights all over the place. More hellos. Doing great. Blah, 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 blah. Joanna Hammond, soldering, first tip, never use a point, use a chisel tip. That's something that Sprue mentioned earlier. So worth bearing that in mind if you're like me and fairly new to soldering. Soldering PE tip, use a point, never a... Soldering PE tip, use a point, never a chisel. Hold on a minute. Right, so Joanna's saying never use a point, use a chisel tip. Sergeant Bones is saying use a point, never a chisel. Okay. I don't know whether there's a bit of banter going on there.
Probably.
Yeah. How is everyone doing? Great. Joanna, electricary. Sounds like fun. Yeah. Still having issues, but I won't go into details. So, yeah, I think she's on about her hand or her arm. It's good to see you taking part in the channels again, Joe. Nice to see you in here. Scale model vamp. John Paul. I really hope it gets better at some point. Not John Paul, lol. Joanna. Soldering, first tip, never use a point, use a chisel tip. Hold on, like that said earlier. I'm not, surely not, I'm not reading the same thing over and over again, am I?
I don't know, mate.
Damn keyboard, says Scale Model Vamp. Soldering PE tip. Yeah, no, I'm not, but people keep bringing it up. Use a point, never a chisel. Lol. Soldering tip, stay away from the chisels. The chisel and a hot point. Point tips are bloody awful. No thermal transfer. A little too hot for you, Joe. And then some form of guy with some eye infection by the looks of it. Except when soldering photo etch. Yeah, it's good for photo etch. And then Joanna replies, I would rather, and then all of a sudden the page flipped through a load of, so I don't know what she would rather. You never know what the hell you are going to get, though. That's what she says. Paul Chaplin, I need someone to do a basic vid on LEDs. Well, you're in luck because they're not going to come much more basic than the one I'm going to do. Got the kit, but blowing bulbs all the time. Well, there you go. It's probably what I done earlier, and your voltage is wrong.
Resistance is futile.
Yeah. So that you may have done. Now, I know that this is a thing. People buy bulbs and they buy them at 3 volts and then connect them to a 9-volt battery, and it just blows them. That could be a thing you've done. I've done it. I bought a big bag of clear white bulbs, and in fact, you saw it earlier on. I connected it up to a 9-volt battery, and it sparked and it stunk, and yeah. So, and then Joanna's Hammond says, rule 1, not in series, and rule 2, always in parallel. She's referring to whether you solder your So you remember years and years ago when you bought Christmas tree lights, and if one bulb went, they all turned off, and you'd have to go through each and every bulb until you found the one that had blew. Now that's called in series. And now I've got to get this right, because I now in series, especially when you're using batteries, the power diminishes on each light. Have I got that right, Terry?
No, it's all shared across it. The easiest way of thinking it's a daisy chain, and if one of the links in the daisy chain fails, they all go out.
Yeah. Whereas in parallel, it's its own circuit.
Mm-hmm.
So
and lose one and still have the rest.
Yeah, the rest can work. That's the easiest way to think of it. John Paul, would be cool to have a working Christmas tree for a drag strip. All right. I don't know about
that's the lights to get ready to go.
Oh, right. Yeah. Don't understand resistor and capacitor. That's Paul Shapland. Well, going to cover that. I'm going to cover that on, and Terry's covering it as well. So you'll be able to watch both, and hopefully we should be saying the same thing. But I would go and watch them both. Joanna Hammond agree, but with LEDs, the initial current spikes on any diode system are inconsistent when in series. Right. Well,
that's where you use a capacitor.
Yeah, Joanna Hammond, and then you can blow. Right.
That sounds rude, Mark.
Yeah, well, that's what she says. And then you can blow. There's nothing else there.
Yeah.
It goes on to say, true. Trying to keep it simple for people to get into it. Parallel removes complications. Blowing diodes is so much fun.
Well, so you were always told in the army, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. Joanna's going to say it's magic smoke time.
Yeah, we'll blow stuff up. We're not on about the herbal cigarettes that people smoke. We're on about blowing stuff up.
And poisons you in the process. Hey, Terry.
Yes. Some of the chemicals that they use to make the LEDs can be a bit toxic.
Oh, right. I didn't know that. Joanna Hammond says, I agree, Sprue. I was being sarcastic a bit. Smiley face. And then she says, sorry, Smoo. And then Scan Model Vamp says, at Sprue Surgeon, we could not see you.
Well, that was a while back when you had it locked.
Yeah, can't see. Yeah, we did get that sorted in the end. Scan Model Vamp, everything. Rob, at least 15 minutes. Right, yeah, that's a fair bit. Oh, right. So Joanna Hammond says equation is quite simple, especially if you do in parallel. R ohms equals volt source equals V LED / I LED. Just do that for each parallel LED and you are really happy.
And I want you to go translator to aisle 1, please.
Yeah. She's saying V source is your power supply voltage. Well, I got that was the voltage. VLED equals LED activating, and ILED is the forward current of the LED. Right.
It's quite a simple one. It's Ohm's law. That's V over IR. So you need to know what voltage you're using for your power supply, whether it be 9 volts, 6 volts, 3 volts. You need to know what the forward voltage of the LED is, whether it's 3 volts or whatever, and what the current rating of the LED is, which is usually 20 milliamps. And then you can use a mathematical sum to tell you what resistor to put in so that the 9 volts doesn't blow the LED. But there's easier ways. There's online calculators.
Scale Model Muse sneaks in and sits down. Nice and easy math, Joanna Hammond says. Paul Shapland, you flipping lost me, Joanna, lol. And easy to work out. You have a supply voltage. Bob says, hi, Muse. Yeah, going over most folks' heads there, Joe. Some don't even know what a resistor is. I bet there's some people that don't even know what electricity is. Oh, that's cruel. I shouldn't have said that. That's actually quite bad. I'm listening to that back in my head, and I've just insulted everyone.
There's the Outer Hebrides that are still working the gaslight. We apologise. Yeah.
Yeah. It was meant to be funny. No, it wasn't meant to be an insult. However, Scale Model Muse says Mr. Potato Head and sticks her tongue out. That's aimed at Bob. That's definitely an insult.
Is that an inside joke, is it?
She got this thing about calling Bob Mr. Potato Head.
Ah, right, okay.
It's all good humoured fun. It's not it's nothing nasty or anything, but it's just it's funny. Joanna says, when you buy LEDs, you get a voltage and a current. I didn't have a look on that on the bag, but
yeah, it's on quite a lot of mine that I've got down in here. For example, here are some surface mount LEDs, and it comes in and it tells you the amp rating is 20 milliamps and it's 3 to 3.2 volts. It's important to know what the LEDs you're buying, those two figures, the voltage and the...
Okay.
Or you can have a device like I've got that you can plug it in and it'll tell you exactly what it is.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that on Wish. I was going to buy one. Brilliant bit of kit.
Well, I am going to have to get ready to go to the shops, Mark, young man.
Yes. Well, thanks for popping in and helping me out. Much appreciated.
Not heard for Colin yet, but there might be an insomnia tonight. I'll see once I hear for Colin. But not promising anything, but one might pop up. Yeah.
So yeah, don't forget, folks, if you're struggling to sleep at night, sometimes it's worth popping on and having a look. Terry and Colin do an insomnia, and they run throughout the night. So if you're in America, especially, you'll be able to get in on that. And watch them until the wee hours of the morning. The wee small hours.
The wee small hours of the morning, aye.
Paul Shapland says he's on a different planet to Joanna. Moving swiftly on. Sorry if I bored anyone.
I was talking about the electricity and all that. Yeah, it was a bit obvious.
Found a nice place for fibre. 100 metres for 20 quid.
Yeah, I'll need to find out where you get that, Joe, because I've found some suppliers I've been buying it in like 10 metre lengths, but it gets a bit pricey, so I'll maybe PM you about that. Not that I go through lots of it, but
a Borg level scale model vamp. So you've got scale model vamp has a thing about Borgs. I'm beginning to notice. All I gave was the fundamentals for resistor value for LED circuits. Paul Shapland says, not boring, Joanna. I blew loads of LEDs as a child.
And Mark just blew one there as an adult.
Yeah. If you're new to power supplies, etc., start with the cell phone charger. Normally 12 volt to 5 volt works to play and learn. Joanna Hammond says, a 0.5 watt normally covers most cases. Those lovely.
I was on about resistor values when I was on about, a lot of folk buy quarter watt and think they're going to work on 12 volts and then it blows up.
Yeah.
So I'll explain all that when I go to do it, what wattages means and what happens when you get it wrong. There's a simple equation to work that out as well. Right, I really must go, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on and helping me, Terry. You know, really.
Catch you later on, buddy. Terry Buggles.
I will see you soon. Yeah, so thanks to Terry for helping there. Night, Davey, take care. Joanna Hammond says, I'm sorry I simplified it as far as I know. Why are you apologising, Joanna? There's nothing wrong. There's no need to apologise. I was just joking. You know, it's over my head, but I will certainly come and pick your brains when I start getting into it proper. Don't forget, different colours have different voltages. He's going to the shops and I'm going to work shortly. That's Scale Model Muse. And I think, you're not going to believe what I'm doing. I'm trying to move I'm going to show you. I'm trying to move the mouse, the little arrow on the TV monitor to get it going. And I'm wondering why the arrow won't move. I keep tapping the mouse. Of course, the mouse is over here on the computer, not here. A bit of an idiot. Oh, so knee down in a straight line. It's bloody windy. Yeah, damn. You may end up in Oz, Terry, till the wind. Tell the wizard I said hello. Lol. Need to catch the sops, Smooth says. Shops. Ah, right. There we go. Yeah, just the point there, Joanna's saying you can get the flame effect LEDs where the flicker is built into the LED. Saves a lot of messing around. Yeah, they do. They're very effective as well. So yeah, that's one that I shall look at doing shortly. Right. So that's going in there. So now I need to decide where I want these lights. So I want a red one underneath. I think I need one on the top. Unless I'm mistaken, the one on the top is normally, is it normally towards the back? So we're looking sort of that area there. Would we say that's, nope, come on. That's where I'm going to put the red one on the back. And then underneath this one is going to go sort of there on the middle, in the middle of the frame. And then we've got the wings, which I need to have a look at now because they're quite big. So with these kits, with this big plane, normally on a plane you get a red LED on the outer wing and a green one on the opposite side. Not so with this kit. With this kit, you have white. I'm going to need to cut that off there to show you. Let me just get my cut that off there. There we go. With this one, you have they're like bright. They're almost like headlamps. And I've just got to find out where they are. What have I done with them? And I think they go here on these. So they're right down by the wing roots. They're right down here, like that. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that. Let me cut these silly things off here. I can clean this up afterwards. Hello, John. How are you?
All right, Mark. You all right, Terry?
Terry's left now. He's gone to the shop.
He's got a shop, has he?
Yeah, he's gone to the shop. How are you?
I'm all right, matey. Having fun with the big tabs on the sprues, are we, on the wings?
Sorry?
Having fun with the big tabs on the sprues.
Yeah, these are really quite big on here.
Yeah, more like barn doors.
Yeah, I mean, you see, you look at some of these sprue tabs. I mean, that's my finger underneath.
Yeah.
Some are a little bit thinner. The really big ones were on the, I don't know where they're. I think I cut the really big ones off now. They're easy enough. All you do is just cut near the wing edge, without.
Yeah,
take that off there. Oh, damn, that's gone a bit too deep.
Time for some sprue goo.
Yeah, done a bit of damage there.
Yeah, time for some sprue goo.
There we go. Ooh. Great. Yeah, so on this one, instead of having your red and green lights on the edge, the trailing edge of the wings, they actually go right down here at the root there. And I believe there's two bright white lights either side of the fuselage. And there's not a red and green one up here, which is unusual. Having said that, I've got a funny feeling there's another one somewhere which I'm struggling to try and find out about. But I'm probably not going to get two LEDs side by side in there. So I'm going to put one in, and then I'm going to cover that one with a clear screen. And, you know, hopefully it'll be so bright when it's on you won't really notice it. But we will see. I have to bear in mind this is my very first kit that I'm going to light up. So I have tried to pick something fairly simple to begin with. Right, so that's going to go underneath there. What are you building?
I'm waiting for some of the oils and the chipping to dry on my spit I've been working on.
Hold on, let me bring the camera over. There we go.
Yeah, I've done some chipping around the gun covers.
Yeah.
And around the access where they climb in and out. And done some staining underneath on the gun ports.
Yeah.
Because they actually get quite mucky underneath.
Yeah, it looks nice.
And I've been doing the same sort of thing on my P51 that I've been on with.
Yeah, I like the look of that. That's nice, that.
So, while waiting for that lot to go off, I'm working on a big motorbike.
The real one or the model one?
The 1/6 scale CB1100R.
I have down here.
That one.
Oh, right, yeah. I've got, my mate's got one of those. That exact same colour.
Yeah.
I have got, it's a Revel Honda RC211V.
Yeah.
1/9 scale.
Yeah, I've got Ross's flower power one up there.
Yeah, it's a nice. Although I haven't had a proper look at it yet, but it seems to look like a nice kit. I got it last year at Telford.
Yeah.
It was quite cheap.
Yeah, they started to fetch silly prices on eBay at the money the big ones are now.
That's a bit brutal for that. Shouldn't use that for that. What have I done with that? I've just used a really brutal sander just to try and... Oh, there we are. There we go. That's better. Much better. Let's have a look what we got there. Right, let's have a look. So Terry's saying if you're still on when I get back, I'll pop on.
Yeah.
So Joanna's dropped a link for fibre optics. 100 meters for 20 quid. That's very good.
Yeah.
Very good, that. 100 meters for 20 quid. That's crazy, crazy money.
I normally wait to Christmas and get the optic fibre Christmas trees and pull all the optic fibres out.
Oh, yeah. What's going on here? Got a bit there. So we're just going to really wind down now. Just going to sit and do a bit of building. Have a bit of fun. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the link, what's it came up to say you were going live, but I was on my way back from Nottingham.
Yeah.
Because I've been to, what was it, IKEA. So, yeah, I've been looking at some more shelving units.
Where's the oh, we're done with that. Right. So actually, what I told we're 10 to 10, so that's 9 viewers. Right, so I'm actually going to, we've run over a bit tonight, so I'm going to call it a night there. This hangout will carry on, so if anyone wants to join in, feel free, just go onto the Sprue Surgery waiting room, click on the link there, it'll bring you through to this. It says it's live, but it won't no longer be live. Thanks for popping in. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you've had a good time and you've had maybe learned something. And I look forward to seeing you all next week or maybe sooner if I'm, if I get to be a guest on Smooth Show, I might be there, I might not. But thanks for watching anyway.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Yeah, bye, right.